What's up, guys? It's Jay, MorninAfterKill, and I'm back here on Borderlands 2, and it's another episode of my unique weapon guide, where we take a look at the unique weapons and items in this game, and what they do, and this is going to be a little bit of a different guide, because usually, these are just weapons that you can toss into any loadout, and find a good use for them. However, this is a very niche item. This is the Rough Rider shield. It is a Jacob shield. It is the only Jacob shield in the game. And it has a 0 capacity. And the reason why this is very niche is because there are a lot of do's and a lot of don'ts, and this is basically the type of shield that you build a whole character spec sheet around. It's kind of like the Law and Order, it's kind of like the Love Thumper, where you're not just going to throw it on any class and forget it and set it. You want to build your character around this shield because of the type of abilities and bonuses that you can get from this shield. So before we take a look at exactly what this shield can do for your character, I want to go ahead and show you how to get it. But not only that, I want to give you a little bit of a lesson, because this is called the Rough Rider, and as you can see, the red text on it says, "It takes more than that to kill a bull moose." And that's right, this is a Teddy Roosevelt reference / Easter egg that goes all the way back in the late 1800s of America, back when Roosevelt was part of a cavalry known as the Rough Riders, and it became known as Roosevelt's Rough Riders, and then Roosevelt later went on to become president and named the party that he ran for the Bull Moose Party. And I'm a big history buff. I thought you guys might like that just because it's kind of cool when they put reference in the game, and this references not only one person, but it references this one person twice, and that is very cool. So this shield is a unique drop. Inside of the Sir Hammerlock DLC, you're going to have to do the side mission called Palling Around, which sends you out into the Hunter's Grotto. There's going to be a little bit of a cul-de-sac, and there's going to be a rock there. You're going to have to beat up a couple of bullymongs while you're there, and then afterwards, you'll find out that that rock is not a rock, it's actually a bullymong called the Bulwark, and the Bulwark is what drops the Rough Rider. The Rough Rider actually drops very, very often, like all the other Hammerlock DLC weapons, so you should have no problem getting it. However, I had a problem that this shield would only drop at level 48, but it took about 4 or 5 drops of a level 48 shield to grab my level 50, and when I compared the stats, the only difference is that with the level 48, you get 2,000 less health, which isn't that big of a deal, but it's enough to make you want to go ahead and get a level 50. So while we're clearing out these bullymongs, let me tell you exactly why the Rough Rider is such a niche item in this game. And that is because there are a lot of skills on the character skill trees that only activate when your shield is depleted. Now, if you take your shield off, it's not going to activate because you don't have a shield that's depleted. But since this stays at a constant 0 of shield capacity, it registers the fact that you can keep these skills active the entire time you're running around. So it's not like just any normal shield where you can just toss it on your class, run around, and have a good time. You're going to want to make sure that, number one, that the skill trees you do have active are benefited by this shield, but number two, that you don't invest in any skills that actually enhance your shield capacity or only kick off when your shield is fully charged. But don't let me say that it's a niche weapon, say that it's not a good weapon, because this is actually very useful depending upon how you're going to build your character. Sometime later the next week or two, I do want to pursue having a mini-series showing you possible skill tree combinations that would actually be benefited by the Rough Rider. Because as awesome as the shield is, it is going to have to take a little bit of careful analysis to make sure that you get the most out of your skill trees and out of your build, because you will be at a severe disadvantage running around without a shield, especially against raid bosses. So that is something you want to take into consideration, just exactly what you want to use this shield for. So let me tell you what you don't want to use this shield for. You do not want to use this shield for Gaige, the Necromancer, because the only skill that she has that benefits from the Rough Rider is her Sharon is Karen skill, and that's her game changer all the way at the bottom of the best friends tree, which a little bit of a trivia actually. Gearbox originally named the best friend tree the girlfriend tree because it made it easier for girlfriends that's played along with their boyfriends to play and have a fun time. Just because the best friends tree caters more towards beginners at the game and people with bad aim, so they called it the girlfriend tree, although they got a lot of flack for doing that, so they named it the best friends tree before it released. Just a little bit of cool trivia. And just another piece of trivia, if you use any class mods that negatively impact your shield's capacity, it will not work with the Rough Rider and make the Rough Rider useless, because it will have a negative value inside the game's mechanics, and it will not activate those skills for you. And moving on to Axton, if you spec into Axton's Gorilla Tree and go all the way down to Crisis Management, when his shields are depleted with the Rough Rider, you will gain 35% gun damage and 30% extra melee damage. Even though the melee damage isn't really that important, the 35% extra gun damage is, and it is very noticeable in Axton. As you can see on the targeted dummy, we're getting over 10,000 extra on basic shots and another 20,000 from critical hits, so it's a very good shield to build an Axton skill tree around. But Salvador is actually a very good class to use with the Rough Rider, because if you spec into Inconceivable and add a bubblegum, not only are you going to get higher fire rates, but you're also going to have a chance to not use ammo every time you shoot. And I would give you an example, however, my Gunzerker is level 10 and seems to be perpetually stuck in Wind Shear Waste no matter how far I progress in the story. It's kind of annoying. So moving on to Zero, out of the 4 main original characters in this game, Zero has the less downsides to the Rough Rider, but he also has the least benefits from it, in my opinion, since Zero is a glass cannon and he gets hurt very, very easily. Having a shield can mean the difference between life or death. He does gain 25% extra fire rate and 15% extra gun damage when you're spec'd into Fearless, but missing out without having a shield with Zero is a very big handicap that I myself personally don't want to put upon my character that already gets killed very, very easily. Now, I'm going to save the best for last, and I know you guys are going to be like, why did you save Maya for last? Because Maya has the fleet ability in her motion skill tree, and this means that when this shield is down, she has 50% extra movement. Now, I know that it's going to be like, it's not that great, she doesn't gain any damage. The movement is a huge, huge plus with her, especially when you compare it side to side of her racing from Moxie all the way to scooters. You can see exactly how much that this is going to affect. This means you can easily circle strafe around enemies and put them down very, very fast. So, my name is Jay, MorninAfterKill. I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a little bit longer than normal, but I wanted to go through all the skill trees and show you exactly what this affects, and hopefully you'll gain a little bit of insight into exactly how you want to build your tree around the Rough Rider. So like I said, my name is Jay, MorninAfterKill. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you could throw a thumbs up on the video, I would highly appreciate that. It does mean the world to me. So like I said, thanks for watching, and I'm going to see you guys later.